This is my video on the Rcharlance, and I hope I get that right, selfie stick tripod. This selfie stick tripod costs from Amazon £29.99. Now I know that's a lot for a selfie stick tripod, but this tripod has a unique feature about it, and I'll show you that later on in the video. Now, even though the selfie stick tripod is from a company called Rcharlance, and I'll show you that because I'm absolutely thinking I'm getting that wrong, but there's the name there. I'll get that into focus, but that's the name of it there. It's made by a company called Disfro. Oh, I hope I got that one right. But anyway, I'll go around the box. First of all, we have writing at the top saying selfie stick tripod, and it's a rotary tripod selfie stick. Now, I'll come to that later on, what that means. We have the actual selfie stick tripod itself. Now, I'll go around the box, and on this side we have Disfro. I hope I got that one right. On the back here, we just got some product parameters on the back, and basically it is, I go from the bottom up to the top. Weight is 183 grams. Folding size is 560 millimeters. Unfolded, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Its unfolding side is 563 millimeters or 56 centimeters. Folding size is 190 millimeters or 19 centimeters. Charging time is 1.5 H. My guess is probably 1.5 hours. So 1 hour 50 minutes. Input current is 200 milliamps. Charging voltage is 5V. Standing time is 30. I take it that's 30 minutes because it's just got 30D on there. So either that means days or whatever. I'll leave that up to you. Battery capacity is 65 milliamps stroke 120 milliamps. Now, the reason why there's two of them in there, because this thing has two batteries in it, but I'll show you that later why it's got two batteries in it. Most of the material is aluminium alloy, and the product name is Rotary Tripod. Now, it just shows you a picture here of the person operating the tripod selfie stick, and a woman in front showing it that it can go into portrait. Now, on that side, it states 1 key rotation, Bluetooth connection, aluminium rod, and the tripod, and it comes in two colors, black or white. I've got the black version at the moment, and on Amazon UK you can only get the black version at the present moment. At the time of this video, you cannot get the white version. Now, this is what you get in the box. We get a quick start guide, and that will show you how to use the selfie stick tripod and the operation of it, and how to use the remote, especially the remote of this thing, and charging times and batteries, etc. And then we have a USB to micro USB cable, which is about 7 inches long. This cable is. And now we have the actual selfie stick tripod selfie stick itself. Now, it is made out of predominantly plastic. I'll open this up, and as you can see, it's quite a thick selfie stick tripod, and it has, as I said, it has this unique feature about it. Now, to the keen eye, you've probably noticed the thickness of this thing at the back, what holds the phone mount. Now, in here there is a motor in here, so this is why it says it has two battery units in there. Now, the larger battery unit is in the motor here. So there's a built-in motor into this unit here. We have an on and off switch for the motor to operate this motor. The motor, I'll show you what it's actually for. We have the phone clamp here, which is plastic, made of plastic, and it's spring loaded. And we have rubber tips here and rubber tips at the top. Fold that back up. On the front here, we have the remote control unit here, and it's a 4-button remote. 1 is the shutter button. 2 is to turn this selfie stick, because this selfie stick actually turns itself to the right. The button below is to turn it to the left, and the button at the bottom is to give it a 360-degree turn. But I'll get to that later on. We have a metal ring bit here that holds the legs, the tripod legs, and the tripod legs here and handle is very smooth. That's the only one of the negative things with this tripod selfie stick. There is no actual grip here. It is absolutely smooth. And when I extend out the legs are made of a thick plastic, so I say that's good. That's an advantage on this particular product. It's made of thick plastic, and we have rubber tips at the end of each leg, and they are magnetic, click together. So there is a magnet inside each of these legs here, so it clips together and holds together. Now, to connect this remote to your phone, and I'm using my iPhone SE. Now, to connect this to your phone, you simply click down on this top button here, which is the camera button, and just above it there is a little LED which lights in blue. So you press down on that to when you get the LED flashing, and it will come up as this throw. It will come up as this throw on your Bluetooth. Now, if you are an iOS user and an Android user, you go to your settings, then go to Bluetooth. Android users, make sure in your Bluetooth that your phone's device is visible to other Bluetooth devices. Once that is done, you press down on this button, you will get a solid blue light. It will come down at the bottom here as other devices, and on Android phones it will see that device, it will come up. All you do then is connect to it. If it asks for a pair number, it is 4 zeros or 1, 2, 3, 4. That's if it asks for a pairing number. If it doesn't, it will just pair to it straight away automatically, and that's how you pair this remote unit to your phone, and it will come up as Despro there. Despro. I might be saying that wrong, but it will come up as that there, DISPHO, and then you simply connect to it, and that's your shutter button now connected. Now, in all my videos, I give you the actual true length of the selfie stick tripod, because most manufacturers measure from the bottom of the handle to the top of the phone mount as the actual length. Now, I go by the actual length of the stem or rod in the middle. So between these 2 points, which is the top of the handle to the bottom of the phone mount, is 13.5 inches. So it's 13.5 inches this extends out to. As I said, I don't count the overall length because you lose some of the length with your hand, and the phone takes up some of the length. So to me, that is the actual extension length that this selfie stick goes to. Now, because this has a motor on top here, this really feels top heavy, even with a small phone on there. Now, this mount can take large phones. I've put my wife's Note phone in there and it still operates perfectly, because that's the feature of what I was going to tell you about this selfie stick tripod, about the motor built in here. So It does take large phones. It doesn't impact on the motor in there, so that's good. But it does feel a bit top heavy, and because of that, you get this slight feeling of wobble in there. It's very slight. It's very, very slight, but it's noticeable. Now, my guess is it's coming from either round this section here. Now, it could be just a one-off. It could be just this particular unit is like that, and if you buy one, you probably won't get that. So I'll leave it down to you. If you've bought one of these and you feel this kind of wobbling in there, it's not like a slight wobble in there, then it's obviously the design and the weight of this thing here. But if you don't, this can just be a one-off that I've got. Now, as for the shaft, it's this kind of gunmetal, I'd say grey purpley colour with black accents where each section is, which is quite nice, has a quite nice look. It has a seam running down the middle at the front and one at the back. So obviously that's to give it strengthen this stem out. Now it extends out like the old-fashioned car aerials, so it relies on friction when you pull it out, so you don't have to, as you're pulling it, you don't have to twist it to lock them into place. It relies on friction. A thing that I like with this selfie stick tripod, and I'm not going to pronounce the name again because I might have got it wrong, from this particular company, is the thumb screw at the top. Now, it's not one of the biggest, but it's one of the thickest thumb screws they put up here, which is quite good. So they put a nice thick thumb screw at the top here for adjustment, which is brilliant. Now, this selfie stick tripod can hold your phone in landscape, which is the standard position of most selfie sticks. It can hold it in landscape, and it can hold your phone in portrait. Now, I like the mechanism on this when turning it into portrait, because I'll see if I can pick it up on camera, but as you turn, it kind of like moves out. So it's very slight, but as you turn it, it pulls out and turns. So as I turn it to go into portrait, it pulls out and then locks into a portrait position, which is very good. I've never seen that on a selfie stick tripod before yet. So that's a very good, unique feature. As it says, you turn and it comes out and then locks into position. So you can have this in portrait and landscape. Now, another thing is this unit here can also be moved around. So you can, if you hold the stem and turn, you'll feel it notch as it turns around and notches back into place. So you can either have the phone facing, I'll close that down, facing away from the buttons if you want, or have it facing towards you with the buttons. So that is a unique feature. I've not seen that on any of the selfie sticks that I've tried out, that you can actually swivel that around. The actual mount, the actual phone mount that can swivel around. So that's very good from this company. Now I'm going to test the shutter button, and that's the button at the top. I'm going to test to see if it mutes the shutter button sound of the phone. Now, some shutter buttons on selfie sticks mute the sound. Some do, some don't. So we'll see in photo mode, as I'm in photo mode here. I'm going to press the button and we'll see if it mutes the shutter button. No, it does not mute the sound of the shutter button in photos. So I'm going to put it onto video and see if it mutes that. We're going to start the video. I'm going to end the video. And it doesn't mute the sound. So now, another thing about this selfie stick tripod from this company, and I'm not going to say the name in case I don't want to sound really stupid and can't get the name right. But for this company is the shutter button, because when you bring the top down, it locks the shutter button in place here in this holder, and the shutter button, to remove it, you simply pull up and it comes out. It runs on a rail system either side, so there's a groove here and a groove at the other side and a rail on the inside to lock it in. So when you put it into place, it doesn't clip in, it just simply goes on the rail, snaps into place and locks into place there, and that's an extra lock on top, so that is really good. Now another thing I'm going to point out to you is the actual remote here charges with that cable. So there's a built-in battery in there and that charges the remote, and it also charges, and I'll try and get that into shot, it also charges the motor that's in the unit here. So I can't think to get it into shot, but there's a micro USB opening here so you can charge the motor. And to switch on the motor in the unit at the top is a simple off and on button, which I showed you earlier on. So you would just switch that on. You'll see a blue light flashing, and the blue light is to pick up this remote. So it will pick up this remote. Once it picks up this remote, this light will stop flashing. Now, as you can see, the blue light has stopped flashing, so now it connects. It is now connected to this remote. So I'm going to put it on there and I'm going to show you the unique feature. Now on the remote here, there are 4 buttons, as I stated before. The top button there, I'll try and get that into focus. The top button is for taking photographs. The button underneath is to turn the selfie stick to the left. The next button down is to turn the selfie stick to the right, and the bottom button is to do a 360 shot. So it'll do 1 360 rotation, then stop. So now I'm going to press the second button down from the shutter button, which will turn the selfie stick to the left. Now, see, it turns it to the left. Now you can do it in increments. As long as you keep your finger down on that button, it will turn it around. So as you can see, and I'll bring it back. So the next button down, the third button, is to turn the selfie stick to the right. So I'll do that. And remember, you can do it in increments just by simply tapping on that button. And as you tap, as you can see on the picture, the blue light is flashing. Now there is a bit of a noise in the motor. Now this is going to come out on your video. So I know I'm going to get questions asked. This will come out on your video. I have tried this before and it does come out on the video. Same way how you can hear it actually on my video recording this is the same way you're going to hear it on your video when you've got your phone on there in record. Obviously taking a photograph doesn't make no much difference, but when you're doing video you will hear the noise of the motor. Now it depends all where you are filming exactly. If it's a noisy place and the noise is very loud, and when I mean loud, I say from normal watching TV to a concert, then you ain't gonna hear that motor. You will not hear that motor. The only time when you'd hear that motor in your videos, if it's quiet. So if it's quiet and you're filming with your camera, with your phone, sorry, and you start to move the mechanism there, the motor, to revolve the selfie stick, you will hear the selfie stick motor. So bear that in mind. So noisy environments, you'd get away with it, but quieter environments, you will hear the noise of that motor will come up on your video. Now I'm going to tap the last button, which is the 360 button. So I'm going to tap it once and it should do one full 360 rotation. Now it will slightly take it over 360, which I've noticed. Now you see how the phone is facing directly towards my camera. So I'm going to hit that button. And you can see it's going round. Now it's stopped. And as you can see now, the camera, my phone is not back in its straight position. It's slightly stopped at 360 position that it's done. So bear that in mind. Now it could be a one-off with this particular unit, and that when you buy your unit, it probably does a full rotation then stop. So be aware of that. So I don't think it's a fault of the design of it. I think it's just this particular unit does that. Now I'm going to be asked this as well. When you're going to do a 360, you can still record to your phone. So even though you press the button when you're doing a 360 shot with this, and it's in a 360 rotation, you can still record at the same time. You can also make it go in a 360 rotation and you can still take individual photos of that as well. Now I've tried it and it can be done. So I know I'm going to get questions on there saying, well, if you leave it revolving to do one 360, can you video? Yes, you can. You can still video, so you can still hit that button there. As long as your camera is in the video mode, once you hit the top button for the camera, for the shutter, sorry, it will do the video and rotate at the same time, so that it can be done. Now, when it's doing photographs, same thing applies. Put the phone in photo mode and click the 360 button at the bottom, and every time you touch the shutter button at the top, it will take a photograph. So it can do two things at once. Right. Now for when is this suitable for taking outside? Personally, for the price you're paying for this selfie stick, which is a penny less than £30, I would not take this outside unless you're going to use this as a selfie stick mode. And the reason being is, even though the feet are made of thick plastic, because a lot of the weight is up here, all right, a lot more weight than usual than if you had just the phone, but because you've got this mechanism in there, this motor in there, there's more weight at the top, i.e. meaning if a gust of wind catches this, it will topple over. Now, chances being, it all depends where you place this outside. If it lands on grass, then you're all right, but if you're placing it on top of a tabletop outside and the wind catches this, or a gust of wind catches this, you're going to most likely damage the phone or damage the actual unit. And once this unit is damaged, that's it. It's a no-no. So please, if you're going to bring something like this outside, bring a piece of string. I always say a meter of string. See which way the direction of the wind is blowing. Tether it. And obviously you want it to face the direction of the wind is blowing. So if the wind's blowing that way, you want so it's facing that way. So if the wind does catch it, the string that you tether it to will hold it. But me personally would not have this for outside. I know people would going to say to me, well, you can get good panoramic shots and that. You can still get that kind of panoramic shot if you hold the selfie stick. So if you just hold it in your hand and just press the 360 rotation along with the shutter button to do your recording or to take photos, you can still get that shot, but at least it'll be in your hand. Now for indoor use, I think this is absolutely brilliant for indoor use. The rubber feet on there are very good. They're very large rubber feet on there, and it does have a presence of being stable as well. So that's why I think this is more suited to take pictures indoors than anything else, and it's suitable to go on top of tabletops and work surfaces because of its height and that. But I liked the feature at the top, and I reckon you can get very, very good video shots, especially 360 video shots with that motor at the top. So that's a very unique feature, but please bear it in mind that you're paying £30, almost £30 for this selfie stick tripod. So you've got to use it with care. You've got to handle this with care. And I don't think personally this is an item suited for children. Now, a couple of things. The shutter button shuts off after 10 minutes. It will shut off without usage. To actually shut it down, just do a long press on the shutter button, and that will shut down, switch off the actual shutter button. To store this thing, do not fold it that way. It will not fall down, because if you can see where the shutter button is and the motor don't lie flat. So what you have to do is simply turn the selfie stick. So hold that part, turn the selfie stick, that will click back into place, and it closes down like that. So that's how you close this particular selfie stick tripod down. Now this is my 2p worth on the, I'll try and say this, the Rcharlance on this selfie stick. Now my 2p worth on this is, for £29, I think it's a little bit too expensive for a selfie stick and what they're giving it. If this had a nice rubber handle, I'd say a nice rubber handle, a more quality plastic. It's not cheap plastic, this is in between. So it's not cheap plastic, it's not quality plastic, this is in between, right? Then for £30, I'd say, yep, this is all right. If you're looking for a niche selfie stick tripod, well, for £30, then if you got the money, then I would get it, because you can get some unique shots with this, just as similar like a panoramic view from a gimbal, a phone gimbal. So obviously it's not going to give you steady shots like a phone gimbal, but it will give you that kind of 360-degree shot like some phone gimbals will do for absolutely a quarter of the price of them things. So that's good. I'll go on to the advantages now on this thing. The advantages is, the one biggest advantage is the motor at the top that it has for the actual phone unit, for the phone mount. That is a very big advantage, because as I said, I've not come across any other selfie stick that has a motor built in there other than gimbals, phone gimbals. So that's good. The other thing I like is the unique feature how you can turn the phone mount from landscape to portrait, how it has a nice, it comes out and has a nice clicking motion and comes back in. So that's good. I like that a lot. The spring-loaded mount on here is all right. It's very good, and it holds your phone, and it can hold really large phones. So that's brilliant. The large thumb screw here for adjustment, also brilliant. I like that. The unique shutter button on there, and that I also like that. How you got the function control, and it's an easy shutter button to connect to your phone. So that's a good point as well. I like that. As for the legs, the thickness of the plastic of the legs is good for that price. So it is good for that. So that's another advantage. And the large rubber pads on the bottom of this selfie stick tripod is also good. The stem, I like the colour of that and the strengthening of that, so that's another plus on there. For the disadvantages are, it's the plastic on the handle. They should have put a nice rubber coating on there, or even put an indentation in the plastic here, like a mesh kind of indentation or dimple kind of effect pattern on the plastic to give you some grip, because that is absolutely smooth, really smooth. And to me, if you're paying £30 for a selfie stick, that should be coated in rubber at least, or have some sort of dimple effect or pattern on there at least to give you some grip. Another disadvantage is the kind of plastic that they use. As I said, it's the middle of the road type of plastic. I think for £30 they could have put some high-end plastic on here to make it absolutely feel, yep, this is £30 worth. It feels like it. At the moment, personally, to me, this feels more like a £20 selfie stick. I'd pay £20 for this, but not the full price of £30 or $29.99. It's worth £20 to me. I'm not saying that it's rubbish. I'm just saying that because of the plastics that they've used for this and the lack of design on the handle, I'd say £20. Now, other than that, I think this is a very good selfie stick to take. If you can afford it, it's a very good selfie stick to take on holiday. And if you're one of these people that goes on foreign holidays, or even holidays in this country in England, and you want those nice panoramic 360 shots using your phone, this is a very good item to have. So if you can afford it, I'd say buy it, but please take care when using this, especially outdoors, because of the mechanism and the plastics this is made from. I know I'm repeating it again, take care with it. But otherwise, it's a good selfie stick to take on holiday, but do not give this to the kids. Do not give this to kids, because obviously kids won't respect this. So for an adult, it's brilliant. There is some weight to it, so bear that in mind. Even with your phone not attached to this, there's some weight to this thing, so bear that in mind. Just before I finish, a couple of unique features that I missed was on the back here they provide you with a sticker, and it says no whirring or wiggling or something like that on the back here. So I think that's to not forced to use the motor here by manual, so that I think that's what that's for. Also, there's it's hard to pick it up on camera, but there's some little patterns in here to show you where to reline this back up. So if you take this out of place, other than in the center, there's a little diagram here to mark to put this back dead center, which is quite good. I like little things like that some manufacturers put in their selfie sticks or poles or whatever. So that's quite good. So that's quite unique. Now, if you've got this particular selfie stick tripod, rotational tripod selfie stick, please leave a comment down in the comment section what you thought about it and what usage that you got out of it, how long it lasted you and whatever. Just let other people know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give it a thumbs down. I perfectly understand. Thanks for watching, and oh yes, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.